Building a system like this, where you're going from Google Sheets using API calls and tools like make.com to JSON video editors, can help you generate unlimited amounts of content that you can produce on autopilot. You can literally set it and forget it. But the hardest part is the setup. So this is part 2. In last week's video, we went through actually generating our video ideas, 10-second videos, with AI. Each 10 to 12-second video would have 4 different video clips. We then automated lifting some of those video clips from either our Dropbox or using stock videos from pexels.com, and which is all for free, by the way. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to now take that vision and bring it to life by moving all of these video clips and pulling it all together in a JSON video template. And you can use this system regardless of the niche that you're in. This will work for virtually every single niche. And once you have this set up, the best part is you can use this for even longer form videos. So if you're ready to take your video ideas and bring them to life, then grab your coffee or your drink of choice and meet me at the computer. Okay, so here we are at the computer, and this is the Google Sheet that we worked on last week. Now, all of this, these are just different video ideas that we generated using AI. And here you can see, again, the vision being 10-second video clips. We've got a topic, narrative, and then, of course, we're going to have 4 different video clips that we're going to pull together into a template. Now we've got the tool platform, but we've got these keywords. So last week what we did is based on these keywords, we searched our Dropbox for video clips. And if that video clip didn't exist in our Dropbox, then we use this in an automation to go source them in Pexels, which is a free tool where you can pull in some really high quality video clips for your projects. So once we have this, now the next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to build out our template. And so we're going to use Shotstack. And Shotstack, we talked about this in a previous video, but here you go. Right, so now once you've logged in and you've got your Shotstack account, you just go into My Templates and click on Create Template. And I do have a few templates, but once you're in here, we're just going to go to mobile video, but there's so many different options, as you can see here, right? We're just going to click Save, and then it just already sets up like this. And this is like any other video editor. We've got our media files, so you can, it takes a second here. Now I've already loaded some media. There are, if you Google different free audio, you can find that. But this is an audio clip that I pulled from one of those free, audio downloads, but it's a bit loud because we're going to have a narration over top. Yeah, so that's about right. So see that back arrow there brings you right back to the beginning. So this is a lot much longer than our 10-12 seconds, but that's okay. Now with videos in the media, again, on the left-hand side, you can click upload and you can upload from your computer. Oh, let's go back there. Or that little link, and you can put in a URL. So you can upload, and that's where you can upload even some of your videos from the worksheet that we had. I've got some already uploaded that you can see, but I'm just gonna click one here just to add it to this line. And you can see it's on a different layer, right? It's on a different level than the audio. And you can change up all of this stuff that's here as far as cropping it, whatever. But what we're going to do is worry about the timing. So this is going from 0, and instead of auto, we're going to actually put in 2.8. So that if all of the clips are about 2.5, 2.8, 2.5 to 3 seconds, that's what I'm kind of thinking. So then what I'm going to do is just click on this on the timeline, and then I can do a Control-C, Control-V. And I'm going to do the same, Control-V. And then one more time, I'll just move this over. Ugh. Move it over. Control-V. So now I've got my 4 clips, but I've got to adjust the timing. So if you look at this clip, it says auto there. So if we scroll down, you can see auto. We're going to change that. As soon as you click on the 1, 2, 3, it'll automatically go to the 2.8. So this one, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. This is our third clip. And then the last clip, we're going to say to the end. So there we go. Oh, let's grab it. See, it says auto. We're going to say end. And the reason why we say end is because at the end of our narration, that's when it will end. Right? So there. And we're going to do the same for our audio clip. You can change the timing, etc. So this, there we go. So this one's going to go right to the end. And now the next thing we're going to do, if you had other audio, like you can upload this, you can create a link. If you had, like, say, 11 Labs, your own voice, and you can do the same thing with, you know, different videos or images if you wanted to put like different overlays of your own as well in here. So instead, but what we're going to do now, we need to do this merge fit fields. So we don't have to upload those every single time. So we're going to call this, no, maybe just clip 1. There it is. And the placeholder value, so we don't have to upload it every single time. This is how it's going to auto-populate, right? We're just going to go in here. I'm just going to use this as a placeholder so we can see it in action. You can see that's the formula, which you don't have to worry about. But if you hover over your link, just click copy, and you can paste it here into the placeholder value. That's clip 1. And so for each one of these, we're going to add a merge field. This will be clip 2. You don't want to have any spaces here in the merge field name. So even if you wanted to just do an underscore. So there we go. We're just going to rinse and repeat this. So for each of the 4 clips. So we're just going to put that in here, which we'll be able to sort of generate to see how it looks all together. So clip 3. And then we got to go over to our sheet and find clip 3. Scroll over. There we go. Boop. We hover over, and then you can just copy that and put it into the merge field. So again, this is how everything is going to go from your Google Sheet into this template, right? So once we build out our automation, which we will do soon. So clip 4, and we're going to grab clip 4, the URL. Just this, again, is just a placeholder for me so that we can test this template. There. Well, better change the name. Short clips. What do you want to tips? So that's what it is. This is these are tips that I'm going to be doing. So there we go. So now we've got our audio and our videos. So now what we want to also do is we're going to go into AI. We want to do a voiceover. Okay. So for a voiceover, you can just do text to speech. And then here, we're going to do another merge field, of course, and that's going to be our narrative. So if we come back over here, I'm going to just put in a placeholder again. So I'm going to scroll over. Narrative. So I'm just going to grab all of this, triple click, if you want to. And then I can just throw it in here if you want. But instead, it makes a lot more sense. We don't have to do this every time we're generating a video, do we? So instead, we're going to use this as a merge field. So here, we can just say narration, and then I will just paste that here. There we go. And then here, this is the trick. We're going to double curly brackets, space, and then type in narration. That's the name of the merge field, right? That's what we're going to do. And we're going to double curly bracket that. See, there it is, narration, in double curly brackets. That's the tag. It's almost like this is the way that the merge will be able to find itself. And you'll see that coming up in our make.com. Now we have different voices that we can choose from. So you can, and different languages as well. So you can't hear anything because we have just the tag. So we're going to have to put some words in so you can actually hear this. if I learn how to type. This is a test. So there actually has to be words. They're not just the tags.
Pour la synthèse vocale. La voix finale sera générée lors du rendu.
So there you go. So you can do different languages. Let's try different. Here we go.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
You can do different genders, different accents as well. Look at all of these different, you know, Spanish, Mexican or Spanish, European, Swedish, Japanese, Korean, etc. Right? Polish even. Like there's so many different languages if you are using multiple languages in your videos. Different accents as well. So English New Zealand, English Indian, which is really kind of cool. So it helps for you to bring out your own personality or for your audience. Right.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
If you notice, they have different speeds even, right? Different accents or whatever.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
And the two British were about the same length, but you can kind of tell, right? So that's pretty much it. And what you're going to do now, you can do text to image or image to video as well. Like there's lots of different things, which is kind of fun with Shotstack. You've got these AI capabilities as well. And next, what we might want to do is put the topic. You might want, you can add auto captions as well with that narrative if you want to, if you're going to be using this AI voice, right? And that's going to be entirely up to you if you want to have captions on this. A lot of social medias now, they do auto captions anyway, so it may not be necessary for this particular one. So what you can do as well, like you can have different overlays. I wasn't a big fan of the different overlays, or you can create your own. We did another video, if you recall, where we had created our own overlays. They would work just as well. Now with this, if you do have your own, if you want to use it as an overlay, you can use it as that QuickTime, or you can upload your own Luma mats if you are a videographer or whatever. These are different transitions that you can use in Shotstack as well. This is not something that's going to be on the scope of this, but or your own. Now, what I'm going to do instead is I do want to have an overlay of just like the subtitle, just the topic, so that we can open it up with that. But all I'm going to do is just put a text overlay, easy breezy. I'm going to use it as a subtitle. Back over here in our Google Sheet, AI writes your emails now. So I just wanted to put that in here so that I can actually see what does this look like. So you can change the font color, the font size, the background. If stroke just means like the outline of the words. So I'm going to change the background color. Don't really want. Now you can see there's the RGB. If you know the RGB code, like so if you have brand colors that you want to use, definitely type that in. It can take the RGB, or you can just kind of scroll through here the different colors. I kind of like this kind of tealy blue. And I'm going to change that to white because it just creates a better contrast with the blue background. Excuse me, blue background. But if you used a white background, you might want to have a black lettering, right? So we're going to just change, you can change all of this as far as the padding, etc. And you can play around with this as much as you want. I'm going to change the size of this because I want it to be a little bit bigger. And you can also create this, put it to the left there, make it a little bit bigger. I don't really like the centered. That might be a little bit too big. But what you can do is, like, you can also drag it right on your, that's better, right on your screen, right? So there you go. Perfect. And so you can just either drag it on your screen, use the left panel to be able to fix this whichever way that you want. Now with this, I don't want it to be on there for very long, so I'm going to just put in 3 seconds. It's fine. So that's where we click the 1, 2, 3 instead of auto. Or you can have it for 2 seconds, or you can have it for however long you want. And then the animation, what you can do is that you can have this have a motion effect, but I want it to come in. Let me see, we'll just fade. It can fade, dissolve, and then you can kind of see how that looks.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder.
There, so you can say in or out or whatever. And I might do out as well, the fade dissolve. So that way it's kind of coming in and coming out. It's not so harsh.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder.
Pretty good. Timing is a little bit slow, so you can always change that a bit as well because it's barely flashing on the screen, right? So you can do all of that right in here. So let's see, I'm going to make that the 3 seconds that I had originally, and it's probably going to look better. Let's see.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
Yep, that's good. Yep, that's much better, right? So here again, because this is the topic, we can put in another merge field. So we don't have to worry about coming into this template and having to change it every time. So here we go. We're going to say topic, and then the placeholder, we'll just use this AI, whatever. And then here we'll do double curly brackets, space, topic, space, double curly brackets. So that's like a tag in the template so that it'll just pull this through from our Google Sheets, right?
This is a text-to-speech placeholder.
There we go. Perfect. I'm going to take out that this is a test, and we're also going to need to add in our merge fields on the video clips as well. So let's see. There we go. Clip 1. We're just going to do this. It's a little bit different than the other ones. This one here, we just click in this, like see where the curly brackets are, and then you just click clip 2. There's clip 3. Clip 4 looks really small because I actually changed that to end. Don't worry, it'll go as long as it needs to. And this one at the end here, we're going to also put in our little merge field here. And if you just click within those, see that little asterisk that turns up? There you go. So now that we've got all of these tags in there, again, that little asterisk will show you that. Now it's in the upper right-hand corner. Sorry if I've cut this off. We can now test it out and see how it all looks with our tags. So let's give this a second just to buffer a bit.
Tired of writing the same emails? ChatGPT generates professional emails in seconds. Just describe what you need, and it drafts perfect responses instantly.
There you go, not bad. That was 11 seconds, right within the time frame that we want. Now, the next thing we're going to do with this is we're going to go into our Connect right in the middle. Shotstack already has the hosting. Now, if you have any of these kind of storage systems like AWS S3, Google Cloud, but I have Google Drive, so we're going to just click this Connect. I already have my credentials in here, but it's as simple as just authenticating. You can go directly to Vimeo or directly to TikTok, which is so difficult to do. It doesn't save in TikTok. It actually goes into drafts, but FYI. So if you can use some of these, if you're good with JSON or whatever, then you can use different webhooks, etc., for different automations as well. But we're going to use make.com. Now here as well, this is the JSON. If you wanted to edit some JSON code, it's just there, lower left-hand corner. Here it is. And this, I'm actually going to have copied and pasted, or sorry, I'm going to have this, I'll copy and paste it, but I'll have this in the description below. So there is your template. Now, what we can do is build out our automation from this spreadsheet. But what we're going to do before we do that, maybe what I'll do is add in a column to the right. This is not a breathing document, right? So if we're going to do that, we're going to say template video. You know, if we want to take that link and maybe throw it in here to review it, etc. So there we go. And now I'm going to go over to make.com. So if you're not familiar with make.com, this is basically an workflow automation. Upper right-hand corner, we are going to create a new scenario. And we're going to rename this short tip videos. Okay. And we're going to click this great big plus sign in the middle. This is how we're going to pull the Google Sheets into that template. So we're going to start with tools and our increment function. Now this is what we're going to need to be able to link in different cells, etc. We're just going to say never. We're going to add a module, Google Sheets. So we're going to have a bunch of Google Sheets here. We're going to search rows. There we go. And we're going to pull up that Google Sheet that we were just looking at. So make sure you've got your right connection here to find that Google Sheet. I'm going to find the spreadsheet ID. There we go. And this is going to be our nailed it content calendar. It's right there. Give it a second. Sheet name is going to be educate because we want to take a look at that. It contains headers, column range, A to Z. Z because I'm Canadian. But Z because we don't need all of those columns. Order by, I'm going to say posting date. That's column A. And we're going to, the field type is a date. You can order it whichever way you want. And then we're going to order this ascending. And then the limit is going to be 1. Just 1 at a time. That's what we want to look at. You don't have to put a limit to it. It's up to you. There, just click save. It does it every single time, doesn't it? So if anybody who's been seeing a few of my videos, you see that that happens pretty much every time for me on my first Google Sheet module. So Google Sheets next, we're going to get a cell and we're going to pull up the narration. So we're going to my drive spreadsheet ID. It's going to be the same spreadsheet. So we just click on here and there we go. We've got a nailed it content calendar. The sheet name, of course, is going to be educate. And then the cell that we're going to be looking for, if we're going to be looking for the narrative, it's cell F, as you can see right there, F. And then that's the column, but the row is going to come from our tools from the increment function. That's why I really like using the increment function for this. Now, we're going to rename that, just right click on the module, rename it, and I'm going to call it narrative so that it's easy to find. This is just to keep everything really organized, right? So next, I'll just scroll out because we've got a few of these to do. Next, we're going to add another one and it's going to be get a cell, spreadsheet ID, same spreadsheet, our nailed it content calendar. And this time, we're going to, from the cell, what we're going to do is we're going to get our clips. So clip 1 comes from I, right? As we can see there, that's going to come from I. So we'll just type in I and then link it back to that increment function. Scroll down and there it is. Boom. And then we can save. Now what we can do is rename it to clip 1. Click OK. Now we can continue to do this, but what we'll do is we're going to right click and clone because it's going to be fundamentally the same thing. Oops. Connect. There we go. And this little magic wand thing will help to align it for us. Magic align. So instead of I, we know that each, it's 2 cells over, is going to be K, right? Save, and we're going to rename this to clip 2. We know that clip 3 will be 2 columns over from that, just based on the structure of our sheet. So So this one's going to be clip 3. Okay. And we're going to just change that KLM. And if you're ever not sure, you can always just check in this previous module, that first module as well. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to MNO. It's going to be O. Right. And again, you can just search here to make sure that that is indeed the cell number and first column number. And then we're going to call this clip 4. Okay. So now we've got each of our clips, and now what we'll do is we can add in our Shotstack module right there. We're going to render from a template. So the template, just in your drop down, now your Shotstack connection, to add that, you're going to need to have an API key, which you can do here. But what you do is when you're in Shotstack, you'll see this API keys. You're going to have sandbox or production. So long as your template is in production, you want to save it to production. When you're saving your template, there you go. You'll have your API key. So you add that in here. It's that simple. That's where you find it. So there you go. Easy as that. Now, once you've got your connection in this module, then you just choose your template. Your template should just show up in the drop-down menu. And now we've got all of our fields, and I forgot to add in the topic. So we're going to have to do that. But before that, look, we've got narrative. We can just map these all out. Clip 1, and it's just the value from these different modules that we can pull one at a time. And there we go. So I'm going to add in this next module, which is topic that I forgot to do before. So let's go back here, and before narrative, I'm going to right click and click, just clone this actually. We could add a module, but I'm just going to do that. And then we're going to change the cell from F to E, right? And we're going to change the name to topic. Okay. And then we can just put this into our Shotstack module. We'll just pull that topic. See, we can see it there. And we're going to click that and then just click a good save. Okay, so now after our Shotstack, what we're going to do is we're going to maybe put this to sleep because we want to make sure we have enough time for this to render. So I like to do, we're not going to use flow control. We're going to use tools. I clicked the wrong one. So instead of flow control, we're going to do tools and scroll down, and there's a sleep. You can see Z. Look at sleeping. And the delay, I'm going to put in 100. This is by seconds. So I'm going to say 120 seconds. That's 2 minutes. But it's got to be between 1 and 300 seconds, right? So up to 5 minutes that this one can sleep for. Let's see, I'll move this around. I know this is looking pretty big right now. So we're going to pull all of these, the different clips, etc., into Shotstack. It's going to render. We're going to put it to sleep, like just kind of let this rest and sit for a minute, 2 minutes actually. And then we're going to get this Shotstack again, get a render status. So the render ID, because we want to make sure that this is rendered correctly before we move forward, right? Save. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in a router depending on what the render status is. So it could be still in progress. We'll go to flow control first, put in this router here. So we're going to have 3 different ones. Let's get right in here. We're going to right click on this arm and we can set up a filter. So the label would be in progress and underscore progress, which is what the status could be. So the condition is that this render status, so the status here, if it says in underscore progress. So if that happens, we're going to just click a save. Then we're going to go down this arm. If we're going to set up a filter, if the label is failed, like if it failed, then we're going to go down this arm. So we're going to say failed. Then we're going to click save. So that's if the render status is that. Now we can add in one more module. And so this is if it's done, right? So it'll just automatically do that. So if it's not in progress or failed, then it will be done. So here, if it's in progress, what we're going to do is I love this flow control. We're going to go into tools. We're going to put it to sleep again. We're going to do another 120 second sleep, just in case it just needs a little bit more time to render. So we'll put it to sleep, and then we're going to get the render status again. Now you could clone that one, but whatever. So you're going to Shotstack, get a render status, and then the render ID, of course, from that original render ID from that original Shotstack module. Click save. So now we're going to put in another router, but this time it's going to be, if it failed, if it's done, great. If it's otherwise, even if it's still in progress, we're going to kill it. You could go on and on and on with this if you wanted to, but that's all we're going to do. So this first one is if we're going to set up the filter again, is that if it's done. The condition is that this render ID from the previous module status is done. Click OK. Then what we can do is we can add in basically what we want it to do. We're going to go into Google Drive. We're going to search for the folder because remember I've linked up the Google Drive. So I'm going to choose the folder. So if it's just going to go into your main folder, right? We're going to retrieve a file, and then we're going to search within file folder name, or you can leave it empty. It doesn't really matter. So within the file folder name, and what we're going to do, the query is going to be the way that it goes into Google Drive. It's going to be by the render ID. It's going to be the name of the video. You know what I mean? So we can just put in the render ID here because that's going to be the name of the file. And the limit's going to be 1. And make sure you put in .mp4 at the end of that though. So just to be sure. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move this file or folder, but we're going to move this file into a different subfolder. So the file ID is just going to be the file ID from the previous Google Drive. And then the new location, it's going to be my Nailed It short videos is where I'm going to name it, because we're going to rename it, but if we're not going to be able to rename it to something that might already exist in the main drive. So we're going to update the file, and we are going to get this file ID from the previous module, file ID, new updated file name, and I'm going to just use probably the topic. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably just use this topic one because it will be unique every single time, and then that's pretty much it. We're not going to change the file content at all or add a description. It's fine. Just like this. So then we click OK. And then what we're going to do is finally, we're going to update this Google Sheet, but I'm going to add in another column, and we're going to just say, we don't need to do that. We'll just change the name. Making it more complicated than it needs to be. So we're going to say render status. So we can put in the render status once that's all done. And we will update that Google Sheet with, we're going to update a cell. There it is right there. We're going to update a specific cell. So it's going to be the spreadsheet ID now. There it is. Now, because we've just added it, it may not show up. It's going to be in our educate cell. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably not going to show up in this previous. Yeah, it's not there yet because we'd have to refresh that, but I think it's probably, we've moved it over a couple. So T. And then the value, we'll just put this in as rendered. Now, if it doesn't render, right here, all we're going to do is update this Google Sheet again. But we can clone this, right? I'll just delete this module. We can clone this, and we're going to change the value of the update to failed. Because it's going to be, it's the same cell that we're updating over and over again. So then we can clone this and just move it here. So if this fails, we'll delete this module. Then we're still updating the cell just to say that it failed. Now, all of this, we could just copy. I shift and then mouse over it. And then Control V to paste. Just scroll in here. I'm going to delete this module. Boom. And then go to our little magic wand. And it all lines up. So we've got this. Although it took a minute to build it out above, like up here, we could just copy that and have it down here, because this, if it's a success, is basically what this does. We're just going into the Google Drive, moving it, changing the name, and updating our sheet. We're going to just pop in a quick save, which is always a good idea. And then, now that we've got everything, we are going to, in the tools function, we're going to have to run that module only, because that will run through. So we right click, run only. That will run through row 1, which is our header row. So now that that's done, right, the next row, once we click a run once right here, it'll go to row 2, which is where all the data is. And there's something wrong with our Shotstack. What the heck does it say? SRC is not allowed to be empty. You all probably were screaming at me. There we go. I used the wrong, look at this. This is what it is. It's because I went to the wrong, educate. I went to the wrong sheet. All of these had the wrong sheet. Don't worry. There we go. Save. Make sure all of these are in educate. Yep. So that's why the SRC didn't work, because these 4 clips were pulling from the wrong sheet. So I'm going to just change this. After one cycle, we're going to run once. There we go. Just to kind of give this a bit of a reset. Now I'm going to change this to never. Right click, again, run this module only, and we can see it's row 1, which is the header row. I'm going to click a quick save. And now we're ready to run this once. Let's see. So we're going to it flew through all of those Excel modules. And now it's just rendering through Shotstack. Let's pull this in. There we go. And that does take a little bit of time. And we do have 2 minutes here with the tools when it goes to sleep. So, which is okay, right? Like, we'll just kind of be patient with that. But we'll give this a second as it's kind of going through and it's pulling together. So I'm just going to pause this for a second. Okay, so here we are. And we're getting through the sleep. And we don't need to sit here for 2 full minutes, right? That's why I wanted to. There we go. Now it's gone through here. And it's successful. See, it went, because the status was done or it wasn't in progress, whatever. Now here's in my Google Drive. There's the email. AI writes the email for you. Another mistake. That shouldn't be there. It should be in column S. So I must have not been paying close enough attention in the make scenario. So here we go. Let's see. That should have been S. So I'm going to change that up to S and save. I have to change up all of these final modules as well. Oh, not add. Right click, or just click it and then S. Click a save. Don't worry, this corrected workflow is going to be linked in the description below for you so that you can use this yourself. There we go, to practice, test it out. Try to recreate it though, because then you'll know how to do this as well. And I'm going to move this over in our sheet. Now, of course, this is from my content calendar. Again, if you want to build your own content calendar, definitely check out this video as well. Amazing. So there we go. Now you can even next week what we may do is, update these, like the status from planned to pending, and then have a human in the loop for this to be able to review some of these videos. We did not include the URL for these videos yet, but anyway, just to kind of give you a sense of how you can really pull all of these, the idea and all of these clips together to render a video. So there you have it, your Shotstack video template and your automation. So you can just generate countless number of videos on autopilot. Now this was built with the idea that there would be a human in the loop to review these videos before they go live. Now next week, what we're going to do is we're going to build out the system so that you have a human in the loop before it actually gets posted and goes live onto your social media or whatever platform you choose. We'll also use the option to be able to just directly post it without having that human in the loop if you trust your video clips enough to be able to just pump them out. And finally, we're also going to take a look at, as we had in our template, we have an AI voice generator. But if you want to use your own voice, then we're going to also look at using 11 Labs to replace the AI voice in our template. So that's definitely going to be a jam-packed video that you're not going to want to miss. If you found this video helpful and you're looking forward to next week's video, then please do hit that subscribe button. It does help my channel. And don't forget the little bell icon, because trust me, you're not going to want to miss next week's video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, happy creating.